Welcome to our live stream.
Good morning. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and we'll get the Festival South stuff out of the way. You know how it is whenever I do my own coffee concerts. I also like to do my own speeches as well. Call it a microphone hog. It's the loudest chairs in history, and that's completely okay. So welcome to our last installment in our coffee concert series. We clearly have just a fantastic turnout, and I think all of our coffee concerts have had a terrific turnout. Following a year of COVID, you all have shown up in droves, which we all appreciate. So thank you so much for making our Festival South 2021 Coffee Concert Series a tremendous success. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll hit, if you haven't gotten your tickets for Motown, there are exactly 48 tickets left. So I'm warning you now, if you're thinking you're going to walk into the door and grab your Motown ticket, you might be wrong. So go ahead and get your tickets now, get them online, and for Take 5, there are only 14 tickets left. And mind you, we did increase that by 40 seats. So there is no more increasing. Get one of the 14 that are left now. It's a show you won't want to miss. So those are really the last set of events. That's actually incorrect. We have an event that did not make it on our brochure calendar Friday at 3 to 5. And Mike, that is where? At University Baptist Church. And it is an art gallery. So yes, so that's Zhao Lei, the pianist from Southern Miss, will be playing during the event. So in your Friday afternoon when you've just gotten out of town and you've got something. Yes, Dennis. So another incentive to go before you eat your dinner at 5 or 6 o'clock, go get your hors d'oeuvres as appetizers at the art gallery, and that's at University Baptist Church. So go ahead and mark your calendar for that. But those are the last of our Festival South events. We don't have anything else left. I hope you've all had a fun time at Festival South, and the best is still yet to come. So now we'd like to, of course, thank our sponsors. That's Forest County for sponsoring all the events in our Festival Music Series in partnership, not conjunction. Well, I guess conjunction works as well. In partnership with University of Southern Mississippi School of Music, William Carey, Partners for the Arts, and Mississippi Music. Thank you, Ms. Miles, for starting that applause. It's been my goal to make sure that our sponsors always get applauded for. And so if you enjoyed today, if you think that this concert was just hilariously fantastic, not only does it make me feel good, but I would love it if you would help become a donor for Festival South. And we have multiple ways that you can do it. Mike has displayed our lovely little foam signs here. We've got a number that you can text to. Has anybody here tried texting arts? Anybody? Yeah, that's what we know as well. We would love for you to try and give it a shot. Is anybody willing to pull their phone out right now and text? Dr. Miles, I know you don't bring your phone to concerts, but if you would, you can always look at the back of your programs, and I know most of you have been to every event we've got, so you've got like at least 16 programs at home. Try texting ARTS to 601-565-4337. It's a very short process, and it sets you up to become a donor so that if October rolls around and you're like, man, I miss Festival South, I want to give $10, you can do that. Yeah. But we also have a way to donate at festivalsouth.org. You can always click donate, and it takes you right to the way to do it. But, and it looks like somebody has made off with the jar. Oh, it's behind. We keep the jar hidden so you don't know how much is actually in it right now. But if you enjoyed today, on your way out, feel free to drop drop a dollar bill or 20 into the jar as you're leaving. It helps Festival South make events like this and every event that you've been to possible for years to come. And we would love for you to become a donor. All right, we won't applaud for that. We'll move right along. Cool. All right, so now we'll change hats to the performer side of me. So when Dr. Sanchez asked me to do another coffee concert, I was like, okay, great. What am I going to do now? Because my first coffee concert, I sang all of the big numbers from all the musicals that I either have done or want to do. So I was like, well, I can't do that again. And then for my second coffee concert, well, no, I can't do it again because I don't have the voice for it. There we go. But then for my second coffee concert, I did something never done before in Festival South history. I brought 9 performers and 6 pianists to do a coffee concert. Yeah. Yeah, so I was like, well, I'm not going to do that again because that was a nightmare. But it was a good concert. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I've always had this idea that I would like to write my own little cabaret show where I come up with my own dialogue and then I find songs to help tell the story. I'm writing my own little 30-minute musical with somebody else's work. And I've been working on it, for about 3 years, and it still ain't ready. So I was like, but we all just got through experiencing something that we can all relate to. And what better time, now that we're on the up and up, than to make fun of the coronavirus? So I've put together a show that makes fun of the best, worst time of all of our lives. And I've tried to pick out different moments and different groups of people that were affected by the coronavirus and tell their story through song. So I want to have some interactivity. And this is an easy one. How many of you know someone or were affected by COVID-19? If your hand didn't gonna go up, I want to know what you did, because that's impressive. Second question, a little darker. How many of you know someone who may have died based on COVID-19? Yeah. How many of you know maybe a restaurant owner or a food service employee that was affected by COVID-19? Maybe they lost their job or their business had to close. Yeah, you're seeing all of this, so this whole concert should mean something. Here's another one. How many of you know an artist that was affected? They could be dancers, visual artists, musicians, writers, whatever, that was affected by the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Now, here's one that I think is a little niche, but I had to come up with a kind of way to work this fun song in, so bear with me. How many of you, and here we go, know of a couple where one portion of the couple is a person that works a lot and they're always at the job and they're never at home, while the other person in the couple is very supportive and they're always willing to do whatever, but then the pandemic caused them to go home, and now both of them are stuck at home, but the person who worked way too much is now just, woe it is me, and they don't know what to do, but the other person is very supportive, and so they're just willing to make it happen. Does anybody know somebody like that? Yeah, I'm going to need you to work with me on that one, because it's a real stretch to make that song fit into this concert, but I do love it. Now, here's one, and because I was always taught and I've always learned, anytime you go through something that just sucks, it helps to laugh. It helps to find the funny. It helps to find the silver lining, because you can always get heavy laden and worn down by the bad. So as we go through here, I hope that there are some moments of hilarity that you all enjoy. But how many of you know someone that might have been opposed to a mask? Yeah, so I, of course, had to throw that in there, because when I think 2020, I'm going to think, okay, that was COVID-19, and when I think COVID-19, I'm going to think masks. Not that I didn't have work. I'm going to think back to the little thing that, was the biggest uproar. So with that being said, my concert today is going to be just telling the story of people that were affected by COVID. And so to help me get started today, I also want to make sure that I feature, this is just going to fall. To help me get started and all throughout the program, I also want to always make sure that whenever I sing, I help bring other people into the light. And so in December, I did a children's opera called The Three Billy Goats Gruff that we filmed and was available all over the nation despite the closing of basically our lives. But the performance needed to happen. Performing still needed to occur. And so we found a way to do it. We did the show with puppets. We wore masks. I handled all the other nonsense. We filmed it. It was fantastic. And so I wanted to make sure that all of my, not Dr. Kilgore, of course. He didn't perform in the opera, but he could have. But all of the performers that were part of my children's opera, I wanted to feature them today so that you don't only just get to hear me, but you get to hear other voices throughout Hattiesburg. And unfortunately, all of them will end up leaving Hattiesburg. But they're here for now, and you should get to hear their voices. So to start the prelude to today's show, I would like to welcome to the stage Amanda Charles, who played, yes. She played Lucy, the female billy goat in The Three Billy Goats Gruff, and she is here to sing with me my adaptation of the song that goes like this. crisis. We've seen them come and go, but we didn't expect this. Oh, this is about coronavirus. We're clearly not 6 feet apart anymore.
They thought it was the flu. I guess that's what you do if the only thing you choose to watch is Fox News. Oh, this is a song about you.
No, it isn't. I don't watch Fox. I watch CNN.
I think it's safe to say we really dropped the ball on that whole country-wide lockdown.
I'll do whatever I want because it is my right, and so it'll never end. This really sucks for me because I'm an essential worker.
We had to raise a fuss to get a stimulus.
The whole world got theirs before we did. A mask is worn like this.
You mean it's not like this?
No, it's definitely worn like this.
And definitely not this.
People can be so freaking dumb.
We hoped it would be done.
By 2021,
So they made a new vaccine.
and it's completely free. But now people think it is a trap. Oh, Jesus, just get the shot.
We'll just get along.
Is that too much to ask?
Let's all just do our part
And
wear a freaking mask. 'Cause we all hate COVID-19.
So I'll go ahead and say it always starts to start your show off with a bang and get the hard points out of the way first because the rest of the show is really quite fun. So now that we've spoken about and we've all raised our hands, each song following this will kind of harken back to a specific storyline. So it only makes sense to start with the thing that I think is the most frustrating. And so, in the height of the pandemic, a certain creator on YouTube made a parody of Beauty and the Beast's "Be Our Guest," but he entitled it "Wear a Mask," and I thought that it was absolutely hilarious. His word writing was witty and creative, and it was just a tremendously good time. And so I thought, you know what? I didn't write the words, but it's too good not to put in the show, so I would like to make sure that Noah Lindquist, if he is watching, which he will not be because it's, who am I? But he definitely wrote all these words, and so also, if there's ever an issue, take it up with him because I didn't write these. I did write the other ones, so you can fight me for that one. So I would like to do now Noah Lindquist's version of "Wear a Mask." Oh, and it's a shame that it's a duet, but the person, they didn't get here in time, and it's the second number, and I don't really have a choice. But we must go on, so I think we'll be fine, but bear with me. Wear a mask, wear a mask. Is that really too much to ask? Tie some fabric round your face. Oh, it's the simplest of tasks. At the gym, at the store, don't treat it like such a chore. No, these mandates aren't malicious. All your theories are fictitious. Stop the lies, stop the fights. No one's taking away your rights. All the speculation makes me need a flask. Come on and read some data. All you mask debaters, wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask. It's a mask, it's a mask. Heaven's sakes, it's just a mask. Such a shame that asking folks to follow rules gets you harassed. You can shout, you can glare, but listen, Karen, I don't care. I've seen folks so dramatic over a freaking piece of fabric. Hard to breathe, feels too hot. Quit your, there's a thought. Suck it up and don't you give me any sass. We've got a lot to do, and it's not just the flu. So wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask. Get your head out of your, try some God, the other stuff right of yourself is all we ask. While you sit watching, ignoring science and those docs. Oh, your ignorance is showing as the death toll keeps on growing. Case by case, test by test. Don't forget, you're not oppressed till we put this damn pandemic in the past. Try not to be so grouchy, have some faith in Fauci. Wear a mask, wear a mask, wash your hands and wear a mask. Give us just a second. I'm not hearing nearly the amount of piano I need, so we're going to make sure that I can hear that. Yeah, okay. Got a little scary up there at first. Okay, now rest assured, nothing else in the show is offensive. Now we get the gist. If we can laugh about it, then it's really not so bad. But really, there's nothing else in here that should really bother people, because now we get to the personal bits. Now we get to the bits that we all really relate to, that's deep on the inside. So remember I asked about if you know an artist. Artists are kooky people. They always are. Mike's kooky, I'm kooky, Dr. Miles is Dr. Miles. Definitely not kooky, and the most professional person you'll ever meet. Hire me. But artists have this little thing that goes on in our head. Some people call it the inner saboteur, right, Hanif? Some people call it ego. It's always that little voice that makes you think you're just not all that grand, or that what you're doing is not that fantastic. And when you're performing, that voice kind of goes away. But when you're not performing and all you've got to do is sit at home and practice, that voice really starts to rear its ugly head. And you start fighting amongst yourself, like, is what I'm doing really worth it? There's no way to express myself, and I just, it really starts to fight. So I think this next song, it's called You're Nothing Without Me from City of Angels, but it really kind of sets up this dialogue of the artist and that inner voice really going back and forth at each other when there was nothing else to do. So I would like to invite to the stage Nicholas Joslin to help me sing this. He was our collaborative pianist and our music director for Three Billy Goats Gruff. And as you see, he's not at the piano, so I've forced him to sing because he is quite a fantastic vocalist, even if he likes to hide behind the keys most of the time. So here to do this, do you want to reassess your mic to make it?
Yes.
Because Amanda's all of 3'2".
Well,
okay.
I think we made it.
So now, we're going to give you You're Nothing Without Me from City of Angels. You are some gumshoe, you just don't think well. Get this dumb gumshoe, you come from my inkwell. Is your mouth lonely with one foot in there? Stone your brain only holds thoughts I put in there. Just what you are, I'll spell out. You are a novel pain, one speck of lint that fell out the last time that I picked my brain.
You are so jealous of my track record. Tolstoy, do tell us your feeble hack record. Your weak knees brand too soft and unstable. One small threat and you fold like a card table. You drool at my adventures.
Well, that's not true.
Your rods in bed are
Well, now we both know that ain't true.
home and soak your dentures.
My teeth are real.
Your pen is no match for my soul.
Okay, now that's a little inappropriate. You're nothing without me. No one who'd go undefined. You wouldn't exist. You'd never be missed. I tell you, you're out of your mind. A show off, a blowhard. You're equal parts hot air and gold. And no one would doubt me. Without me, you're nothing at all. You're in my plot. I'm still your creator. I call each shot. I'm your private dictator.
You are so thick, you eat, breathe, sleep fiction. I'm your meal ticket, knee deep in cheap fiction.
Gloating ignoramus. You haven't any shame.
Hey, I'm a famous Seamus, and most people don't know your name.
Most people don't even know what a Seamus is. What do you mean they don't know my name? I think I know my own name. You're nothing without me. Without me, you just disappear right into thin air, and no one would care or notice you ever were here. A puppet, an upstart, a loser who's destined to fall. I'm everything you always wanted to be. Let's deal with the issue. You wish you were me. You're nothing without me. Without me, you're nothing at all. You know, Dr. Sanchez, year after year, I tell myself, don't put anything stupid high. Then I put something in there that's high, and 9 o'clock is not the time to be singing these notes. So, now we get to that point in the show where, you remember I told you about that couple? Does anybody, Miss Miles, can you remember how that couple story went? Yeah, me either. So, this is really a stretch. And I had to do it because it's my favorite role of all time. That if somebody was like, hey, you're going to work 7 days a week, you'll never be home, you're going to be on the road all the time, you'll make no money. But you're going to do Edna from Hairspray. I'd be like, sure, sign me up. Who's paying for the laser hair removal? But, you know, I would do it hands down every time. And so I had to throw this song in there because it gives me the chance to sing with one of the best people that I've met in my time back at USM in my master's. It lets me sing with Josh Cook once again. And that's a heck of a lot better than the last time we sang. This song's a whole lot better. Yeah, we struggled through that last one. But so this is You're Timeless to Me from Hairspray, trying to tell the story of the overworked spouse with the supportive spouse that are now stuck inside, and somehow they find love again. Because COVID ruined a lot of relationships, and nobody wants to talk about sad stuff. So instead, we'll talk about the 1% of happiness that happened. So here to sing You're Timeless to Me from Hairspray is Josh Cook.
Styles keep a-changin', the world's rearranging, but Edna, you're timeless to me. Hemlines are shorter, a beer costs a quarter, but time cannot take what comes free. You're like a stinky old cheese, babe, just getting riper with age. You're like a fatal disease, babe, but there's no cure, so let this fever rage. Some folks can't stand it, say time is a bandit, but I take the opposite view. 'Cause when I need a lift, time brings a gift, another day with you. A twist or a waltz, it's all the same schmaltz with just a change in the scenery. You'll never be old hat, that's that. You're timeless to me.
Oh, Wilbur, you still sing like you used to. Fads keep a-fading and Castro's invading. But Wilbur, you're timeless to me. Hairdos are higher, mine feels like barbed wire. But you say I'm chic as can be. You're like a rare vintage ripple, a vintage they'll never forget. So pour me a teeny weeny triple, and we can toast the fact we ain't dead yet. Oh, I can't stop eating, your hairline's receding, and soon there'll be nothing at all. So you'll wear a wig while I roast a pig. Hey, pass the geritol. Glenn Miller had brass, the Toby checkers are gas, but they all pass eventually. You'll never be past Ray. You're timeless to me. You're like a broken down Chevy. All you need is a fresh coat of paint.
Well, Edna, you got me going hot and heavy. You're fat and old, but baby, boring you ain't. Some folks don't get it, but we never fret it, 'cause we say the time is our friend.
And it's plain to see that you're stuck with me until the bitter end. And we got a kid who's blowing the lid off the Turnblad family tree. You'll always hit the spot, big shot. You're timeless to me. Oh, be careful with the swing.
You'll always be toujours, mon amour. You're timeless to me.
Oh, Wilbur, I do love when you kiss my sweaty, hairy arms. You'll always be first string.
Ring-a-ding-ding.
You're timeless to me. Oh, Wilbur, let's sway like we did in prom.
You're timeless to me.
You're timeless to me. Wilbur, let me look at your cute little face. You're timeless to me. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Well, I didn't work any time for a costume change in there, did I? That's fine. You can't do Edna and not pull out your moo-moo. And I had a hair wrap that I was going to do as well. What a shame. You'll never get to see her. She was fantastic. She was pretty. She was ugly. So, well, but I wasn't. I was John Trashcan. That was as good as it gets, folks. Now we move along to not the saddest moment of the show, but definitely a moment that kind of hits home to a lot of people, and that's the restaurant business. I think most of all, they probably suffered tremendously because without patrons, how do you keep going? If you're not part of the delivery, like buy your food, we get it delivered through Waiter or DoorDash or whatever, how do you get customers in? If you don't have a drive-through, did I already say drive-through? If you don't have a drive-through, how do people keep coming by? And so a lot of businesses just folded under. And a lot of businesses couldn't afford to keep their staff going. And so theirs is a story that I think needs to be hollered out. And that's why it's so important for our coffee concerts to be housed in places like this rather than in like recital halls or whatever, because it brings people in a time when when so many weren't able to continue supporting businesses. Now we are, and rightly so. Miss Mary, I hope business has been booming today. So do y'all want to give a hand for Southmouth? And thank you so much for having us out. So when it came time to pick a song for the restaurant portion of the show, if you know musicals, you might know where I immediately went first. Dr. Yerington, do you have a clue where I went first? No? Waitress might have been good, but I those female roles are hard for me to do. Mike, do you have an idea where I would have gone first? No. No, that was not it. Nobody really. The first thing that came to mind was empty chairs at empty tables from Les Mis. It was right there in your hands, folks. You missed it. So, so this is my lyrical adaptation of Empty Chairs at Empty Tables. There's a grief that can't be spoken. There's a pain goes on and on. Empty chairs at empty tables. Without customers, we're done. Here they talked with friends and family. Here they ate my grand cuisine. Now there's no one here but me and the thought of bankruptcy. From my father, from his father, now this place belongs to me. And I hoped that one day I would pass this place on to my son, but now it seems the end has come. The damage has been done, and it seems our doors must close for good. Faithful patrons, please forgive me. This was just too much to bear. How were we to meet expenses? This whole thing is so unfair. We don't even have a drive-through. How were we to pay our staff? Empty chairs at empty tables where our customers would laugh. Oh, my friends, please don't ask me if the restaurant is still mine. Chairs at empty tables where patrons no more can dine. All right, so while staying with the sense of restaurants and people that stayed in the restaurant because they were able to stay afloat, those people got deemed essential workers. And rightly so, food is one of the things we need to keep going. But there were other people that also were deemed essential. Healthcare employees, service providers. they never really got to take a break during the pandemic. Despite all of the scare and all of the danger, day in and day out, they had to go to work. While some, were able to relocate and work from home. And so there seemed to be this little battle of like, well, you don't have to go to work. You just get to wake up and stay in your pajamas and work from your computer, and it's all fine and dandy. While the people at home were like, oh my God, these walls are about to kill me. I don't know what to do. So I thought, what better story to tell than the battle between the essential worker and the worker stuck at home? So, and we won't even talk about the people that were able to draw the wonderful amount of unemployment that was given. There's no song for that, but we do have this song. So I would like to welcome to the stage David Walker, who was not original. Yeah, go ahead. Come on, David. Y'all know David. Most of you came to his coffee concert. It, of course, makes sense to bring David to mine so that most of you will come to mine. That's not true, though Mike did tell me that. So here to sing this song, and of course I had to choose Agony to rewrite and tell the song of the home worker versus the essential worker. David actually is still doing, he's replacing Benjamin Noss, who was in my children's opera in December. Ben was traveling all June and couldn't do our tour that we're doing in this month. So David, of course, stepped in and had the music memorized before it ever got to him, which is very David, and knew the blocking before I gave it to him, which is very David. Somebody hire this man. But David is still playing Ernesto in our children's opera tour that we're doing in the month of June. So he is multifaceted, multi-talented, and a fantastic singer. So of course it made sense to sing Agony with David. Just 1 second for costume change. Because if you're gonna sing a song from the home, you might as well put your robe on. Nobody likes rhymes? Okay. How did it come to the point in the world? What else could have been done? Trapped in this house I have been for months now. I think I'm going crazy. Agony. I just want to go out, go to bars with my friends, to drink a lot and do stupid things.
Here in the middle of a pandemic, I am frying chicken. I'm an essential worker in the world, and I just have to say, hey, want some chicken today? Agony, I just wish I could quit, but it's too late for that, so I guess this is it. Agony, oh, the torture we face. Would you please pull up?
I guess it is time to go to the next space. Day after day, and then room after room, and then time after time, and then chair after chair, and I'm losing my mind in this house.
At least you don't have to work this darn job.
But I do work.
Oh, shut up.
I just work at home.
You know nothing about working till you go to your job and you want to go home, but you got to be here and you're forced to say, chicken, chicken, what combo are you picking? Agony, misery, there's no end to our plight.
It's just wall after wall,
And just day after day, and there's no end in sight. Agony, our lives are filled with strife. Guess I'll get back to my life.
more costume changes. So that almost tells all of the stories that we really needed to tell, because really the most important thing about COVID is that it's done, or that it's getting done, and that we can come back together, and that we can do things like this, and we can have performances, and we can gather, and it's almost done, thank God. So it really makes sense then to tell the song of coming back together. And this was a tricky one because it was like, you know, there's not many musical theater songs about coming back together after a pandemic. So when I stumbled across this one and I sent it to O'Neill, who's going to help me sing it, I was like, can you do this? Do you feel fine doing this? Because I know I can make a ham out of anything. But O'Neill's a little more posh and professional than I am at times. So here to help me sing Together Again from Young Frankenstein is O'Neill Jones. And O'Neill plays the role of Dandini in the children's opera. And now he's going to help me tell the story of us getting back together, and he's a little apprehensive. Like Laurel and Hardy, like Coke and Bacardi, like Juliet and Romeo, ebb and flow to and fro, together, together again. Together again for the first time. We've only met in a dream. Up until now, it's been the worst time. But now that you're here, we're a team. Together again for the first time. Haven't a woe or a care. No longer a bad or a cursed time. It's easy to see, you'll have to agree. We're destined to be a great pair. All of this time I've been stooging around. Nothing to do, stuck at home. All of this time I've been stooging around. But what good is a stooge if he ain't got a friend? Together again for the first time. Back on the road to renown. 'Cause we're gonna thrill 'em, we're gonna kill 'em. You'll be the teacher, we'll make a new creature and scare the living daylights right out of this town.
Together again for the
Together
first
again
time.
for the first time.
Again. No longer a bad and a curse.
This is the best time.
It's easy to see.
That you're stuck with me.
We're destined to be
A great pair. Take it off.
all of my life I've been bossing around, meaning alone like a Scrooge. All of my life I've been bossing around, but what good is a boss if he ain't got a stooge? Sorry, I don't mean to embarrass you, but I am a rather brilliant surgeon, so perhaps I could help you with this hump.
What hump?
Together again for the first time. We've only met in a dream. Like Ginger and Freddy,
McDonald and Eddie.
like Donna and Sandy.
Like meatballs and spaghetti. But
The pair that we cry for, the pair that we sigh for, the pair that we die for. It's Frankenstein and Igor for the first time. Together again. Like biscuits and gravy,
like singers and eagles.
like traffic and Hardy.
Like pee-pee and poo-poo.
But the pair that we cry for, the pair that we sigh for, the pair that we die for, is Frankenstein and Igor for the first time. Together again. Together forever again.
And so now that we round in on the last number of the song, I think it's all safe to say that even though COVID is getting behind us and getting further and further away, and life is getting back to a new normal, those that we lost never really leave us. You know, it's the thought, it's the memory of them. And it's an unfortunate happenstance that so many had to die. And so I think this is really a fitting end to this song and a bid adieu to COVID. I miss the music. I miss the song. Since she's not with me, it comes out wrong. It doesn't matter how hard I try. I've lost the music. I don't know why. You may have known before I met her, I worked alone. But if you ask me what I prefer, I'd say the music I wrote with her. When you're writing a song and you've a partner, the room is filled with jokes and chatter. She says something, you say something. She writes a line, you play a vamp. But when you're writing a song without a partner, that's a completely different matter. No one tells you that's not funny. No one says let's cut that bar. No one makes you better than you are. I can't pretend I miss the music. I miss my friend. No need to ask me Thank you all so much for coming out. This is just as much fun as it ever is, and I have to give the biggest word of thanks to Kay Guiles, because she puts up with every antic I come up with. And this is the first year that she was proud of me. Don't forget to leave your money in the jar.
Festival Music is Festival South's original series for concertgoers. From classical to jazz, Broadway to blues and beyond, these events feature some of the greatest music and performers of all time. Our festival headliners, weeknight and afternoon events, bring world-class cultural experiences to the Pine Belt, making Hattiesburg the perfect cultural destination for local residents and tourists.
Live stream ending.